Hello gardening friends and welcome back to All About Gardening. My name is Madison and today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to propagate one of the coolest houseplants on the market, Chinese money plants. Chinese money plants are known by a few other weird and wonderful common names. We have pancake plant and UFO plant because of the shape of the leaves, and also missionary plant, alluding to a little bit of this plant's history. The scientific name is Pilea Peperomioides, not because they are a peperomia, as some assume, but because they look so similar to a peperomia that they were given the specific epithet Peperomioides, but they are actually part of the Pilea genus. One of the best things about these plants is that they are so easy to propagate, doing most of the work for you. You have two options here. You can either propagate by offsets if your plant has any, or you can propagate from leaf cuttings. The propagation method you choose will largely be dependent on the plants that you have. First prize is to propagate from offsets. Now these are the teeny tiny versions of the mature plant that form at the base of the soil. All you need to do is cut that off, replant it, and you'll have a mature brand new plant within a couple of months, letting the plant do most of the work for you. If you don't have any of these offsets, it doesn't mean you can't propagate. It just means the process will take slightly longer. You can also propagate from single leaves. As long as you have a few of these large and luscious leaves over here, you simply remove them at the stem, root them in water, and then you can plant them out again. Today I'm going to do both, and if you have a plant with offsets, it's always great to try both and increase your stock as much as you can. The first propagation method we're going to start with is from single leaves. And for this, I'm bringing the camera up close and personal so you can see the exact technique needed to get it right. Some may assume when you say propagating from leaf cuttings that you just trim off the leaf at any point, root it in water, and it will grow. Unfortunately, that is not the case for this plant. You need to include a small part of the central stem over here in order for it to be able to grow roots, because this part of the leaf, technically known as the petiole, doesn't have the right tissues to develop roots. So you need to start off with a sharp craft knife, or you can try with a sharp pair of shears, but it's a bit difficult to make the right cut. You're going to choose a leaf that's free of any signs of disease. It should be healthy, not too young, but not one of the older leaves either. You can see, for example, this would be a bad one because it's damaged and we want to give it the best chance at growth. So I'm going to choose this leaf over here, go close to the stem, and all you're going to do is cut it off, including a little part of that central stem. You don't want to cut too far into the stem to damage the main plant, just enough so that you can include part of that tissue over there and make sure that your cutting will be able to develop roots. Once you've removed a couple of leaves, the next step couldn't be easier, simply popping them into a glass of water. For this step, I'm going to bring in one of my favorite items in my house, this glass propagating station. These things make propagating so much easier, and they make the leaves look good while you're doing it. So you can pop this near a bright window, have a bunch of different leaves in here at once, and you can watch them grow roots at the same time. So all you're going to do is pick up your leaf, pop it into the glass, and make sure the water line is just above where the bottom of the cutting sits. Because these glasses are quite narrow, there's no chance of the leaf falling into the water and rotting. But if you have a taller one like this, you just make sure the water line's right where it needs to be, and you can propagate a few different leaves at once. For those of you who don't have a propagating station at home, I've still got you covered. We're going to take this out, and I'm just going to remove this glass as if it were any other glass in your house. You can use anything because the size doesn't really matter, thanks to this handy plastic wrap over here. All you're going to do is place it over the top, cut a small hole in the top to leave space for the leaf, and then you're going to pop it in through there. Now, not only does this let the leaf rest on top of the glass without falling inside, even if you have a massive bowl, no matter what, this plastic will keep the leaf from dropping in there and rotting. But it also keeps some of the moisture in here and improves the humidity, facilitating better root growth. Doesn't look as great as if it were in one of these, but it will definitely deliver the results that you're looking for. Now that you've got your glass ready, the only thing left to do is pop it in a bright spot in indirect sunlight. Make sure it's nice and warm with high humidity, and you should be able to see roots develop very soon. Eventually, a plantlet will begin to develop at the base because of that small piece of the trunk that we kept in there, and that's when you can move it into new soil. You can also plant these cuttings straight into soil, but then you won't get to watch the growth develop and keep an eye on its performance. Don't be afraid if this leaf starts to die off. Once the plantlet develops and it's got roots, this leaf will die off and you can remove it, just replanting the plantlet on its own to grow into a fully fledged Chinese money plant. Next, we're going to move on to the other propagating method, propagating from offsets. Now, if your plant has offsets, this is definitely the best way to go because it will give you full Chinese money plants much quicker than if you had to wait for single leaf cuttings to root. In this plant here, you can see there's a small offset coming off of the side with these small leaves here, apart from the parent plant. There are some smaller ones in the soil, but you want to wait until the offset is at least 2 inches tall before repotting to ensure that they'll be able to grow on their own. For this process, it's best to remove all of the soil, cut off all of the offsets at once and replant, but you can also cut into the top of the soil. Repotting just gives you a better look at the roots so that you can make sure you get enough with the offset so that it'll survive on its own. I'm going to start by removing this plant from its pot cover to get ready to remove it from the pot. Just squeezing the sides to release it. Set that aside over there, and I'm going to pull this plant out. I haven't watered it for a couple of days just to make this whole process of removal a little bit easier. You can see the roots are circling around each other at the bottom, so this plant was definitely in the mood for a repotting, making this propagating time perfect. All I'm going to do is loosen the soil around the edges here just to get a better look at where this offset has developed from. I've removed some of the soil around the side of this plant just so you can see where the offset attaches to the main plant. So you can see it's separate, it's got plenty of roots, it's even got another teeny tiny plantlet developing over here. So all we're going to do is cut into that part to separate this. You can snap it off, but it's far better and the plant will heal far quicker if you cut into it cleanly. So I'm going to get my craft knife and just cut into the soil to remove the plantlet on its own. You can see there where it was attached, it's got its own roots, it looks healthy and ready to grow into a brand new plant. Finally, all there is left to do is to plant your plantlet. So in this bucket here, I have a standard houseplant soil mix. It's got some potting soil mixed with coconut coir and perlite to improve drainage. So I'm going to grab some of that and fill this terracotta pot all the way to the top, just removing some of that soil there. Then I'm going to make a hole in the center, grab my plantlet and bury it inside, making sure that the petioles aren't covered too much to prevent rotting. Then fill in around the soil, push down gently to get rid of any air pockets, and finally grab your watering can and moisten the soil. And that's how easy it is to grow tons of these stunning plants at absolutely no cost, either from offsets or from individual leaf cuttings. If you want some more details on how to take care of these once you've propagated, or some more details on the process in general, you can check out the article at allaboutgardening.com and keep an eye on our channel for more gardening content coming up.